Over the past few weeks, a great debate has broken out regarding whether government should take action to ban pornography. The debate has been primarily between traditionally small government conservatives and libertarians. The conservatives are arguing that pornography is both a moral evil and an addictive, unhealthy life choice, leaving us no option but to use the power of government to ban it for the good of every individual and society as a whole. The libertarians are arguing that pornography, even if a moral evil and an unhealthy life choice, is a victimless crime and therefore none of the government's business. No matter who you are, you probably have strong feelings about this issue, but even if not, this debate has far-reaching ramifications that the issue of porn doesn't even crack the surface of. Stay tuned to find out more. For purposes of argument, I'm going to assume that every talking point that conservatives have put forward is true. Pornography is both a moral evil as well as an unhealthy and addictive behavior that will cause severe negative effects in the life and relationships of its users. To be sure, there are those who would dispute these points, but for purposes of argument, I'm going to assume that they are 100% true. That being said, what follows? What should be done about the crisis of pornography consumption? The moment you accept that it is the government's job to regulate negative behaviors for the overall good of society, you fall down a rabbit hole from which there is no escape. Remember that as we speak, there exist politicians who have expressed their belief that traditional religious education is harmful to children and to society as a whole, and that government should be able to shut down churches and abduct children from homes where parents seek to teach their children from a traditional religious viewpoint. These political leftists are often more fervent and extreme in their belief that religion is harmful than conservatives are in their belief that porn is harmful. If it is legitimate for government to prevent citizens from engaging in voluntary behaviors because those behaviors are in some sense collectively harmful to society, then what prevents leftist politicians from banning traditional religious practice once they are voted into power? You can say that religion isn't harmful to society, but remember that that's exactly what your opponents are saying about porn. If you are justified in invading someone else's property and stopping them from consuming pornography in the privacy of their own home, how can you consistently argue that they are unjustified in breaking down your door and burning your Bible? You may genuinely believe that you know what's better for someone else than they do, but then again, they think so too. As I've often said, the same government that has the power to give you everything you want is a government that has the power to take everything that you have. In this case, conservatives would be wise to consider the fact that the same government that can ban pornography is the same government that can rip your children from your arms and then force them to watch pornography in state-mandated sex education classes. Once you set the precedent that it is government's job to protect you from negative behaviors, you also make government the arbiter of what behaviors are and are not good for you. Is that really what you want? However, the broader point about whether it is the proper function of government to decide for individuals if their voluntary actions are positive or negative isn't really what concerns me the most in this discussion. What I wish more people would think about is exactly what mechanisms would need to be put in place in order to enforce a government-mandated ban on pornography. I don't think anyone disputes that the advent of the internet made pornography far more accessible to the rank and file. However, whether you think this is bad or good, a government ban on pornography would entail creating some sort of mechanism by which government could determine whether or not pornography was being manufactured and distributed through the internet, and whether offenders were watching it in the privacy of their own homes. After all, if there isn't even in principle a way to enforce the law, then the law becomes fundamentally pointless. The government could, of course, shut down porn sites that are based inside the US, but it wouldn't have the capacity to do so to sites based outside the US. With the advent of virtual private networks and other such constantly evolving technology, Governments worldwide have already discovered that attempting to ban certain materials on the internet in a regional capacity is largely a futile endeavor. What then would it take to enforce the ban on porn? It seems to me that the only meaningful action government could take to enforce a ban on porn would be to go the route that countries like Kazakhstan have already tried, and require computers to be constructed with hardware and/or software already built in that gives government the ability to monitor user activity, bypassing encryption and other security features. Porn can be distributed through Facebook and other not explicitly pornographic sites, so government would need to be able to monitor all a person's web traffic and know who is sitting behind the computer. Otherwise, enforcement of the porn ban would be impossible. Is no one seriously concerned about government utilizing such capabilities for purposes other than observing their citizens' porn habits? If you believe that porn is immoral and harmful, then don't consume it. If you're a parent, you should already be actively monitoring what your children do on the internet. Set up a family computer and specify what times of day your children are allowed to be on the internet and what sites they are allowed to visit. Purchase accountability software that allows you to monitor your children's internet-enabled devices. The tools you need to protect your kids on the internet are already within your grasp, so why would you need the government to protect your children for you? Unless, of course, you believe that it is they who are responsible for your children and not you. That doesn't strike me as a very conservative position. Regardless of your feelings about porn, the dangers of making government responsible for banning it far outweigh whatever short-term benefits may be achieved in a porn-free society. Everything from cigarettes to donuts can be classified as unhealthy, addictive, and potentially harmful. Should government be deciding what's best for you, or should you be? And that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Everyone, please take a moment to subscribe to my 2 cents on the BitTubers and BitChute platforms. YouTube has shown that it is no longer a viable platform for independent content creators, and we need to build a presence elsewhere before the inevitable censorship comes. The links to both profiles are available in the BitTubers tab on my website, my2centsvideos.com. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the bell to receive notifications so that you never miss an upload. And if you're a fan of my channel, please consider supporting me on Subscribestar, Bitbacker, or Patreon to receive special rewards. All links can be found in the About section of my website, my2centsvideos.com.